Welcome to Positive Atheism English channel. Today, in our program, Leaves from Gora's Life, written by Dr. Sharma Marla from West Germany, we will know about the climax of BHOODAN movement and Gora towards direct action. As the BHOODAN movement was growing in strength, it had almost a climax in 1957. Vinoba declared that by 1957, the movement should take a revolutionary turn. They had already gathered about 1 crore of acres as BHOODAN. The movement was concentrated in Bihar. Jay Prakash Narayan was working intensely there with his big band of workers. The movement caught the imagination of the people. Vinoba fixed 1957 as the turning point towards land revolution. He fixed the year 57 because 57 seemed auspicious to him. In 1757 was the Battle of Plassey when India passed into the hands of British, and in 1857 was the Sepoy Mutiny. So, 1957 he fixed up as the year of the land revolution through the method of BHOODAN. In 1957 he was touring Mysore, and there was a conference of the leaders of the different political parties, including the Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. The Communist Chief Minister of Kerala, EMS Namboodiripad, also attended the meeting. It was the closed-door conference of a select few. Whatever transpired between them was not published. But after the conference, instead of the BHOODAN movement taking a revolutionary turn, it began to be sidetracked. Vinoba changed his mind. There was a meeting of the general body of Sarva Seva Sangh in Mysore. Vinoba surprised them by talking about Shanti Sena, a term which was different from the BHOODAN. Later also, they had a meeting of the general body of the Sarvodaya workers. There, instead of taking a revolutionary turn, the BHOODAN movement took a different course. There was no talk of Satyagraha when the land donations were not forthcoming. Gora thought they could conduct Satyagraha, but it did not happen. Several young men who underwent sacrifices entering the BHOODAN movement started going back. The principles of Tantra Mukti and Nidhi Mukti, being free from the power of money and giving the initiative to all workers without centralized control, felt that the movement was being watered down a different course. Some people were satisfied with the new turn, but Gora was among those who thought that the movement was being sidetracked and watered down. So, along with some workers, Gora held a conference in Madhya Pradesh. Their friend, who was an active member of the Socialist Party and active worker, organized the conference. They started an activity called Satyagraha Samaj or Satyagraha Association. They wanted to lay stress on Satyagraha, an item which was not actively taken up by Vinoba. Vinoba also talked about Satyagraha and said that the Gandhian form of Satyagraha was settled and his was Saumya Saumyatama. According to him, Satyagraha is that where they do not protest and they change the heart of the opponent through persuasion and through their suffering. Academically, the theory was alright, but in practice it did not have that effect which the earlier BHOODAN movement was growing more and more academic. Vinoba was laying more and more stress upon literature than upon active work. Hence, Gora and his members started the Satyagraha Samaj in that conference. The activity of the Satyagraha Samaj was started when the All India Congress Committee met at Raipur under the presidentship of Sanjeeva Reddy. The Satyagraha Samaj organized a silent protest against the pomp of the ministers. The Congress party was close to Gandhiji, and Gora expected the Congress ministers to lead a very simple life. But though they personally looked simple, they led a very extravagant life as far as the expenditure was concerned. And so, he wanted to protest against the extravagant ways of the ministers in particular and the people's representatives in general. The All India Congress Committee conference was held for 3 days, and for these 3 days, they conducted that camp, which was a silent protest. His wife Saraswati also was among those who protested. There was silent spinning, no talk, no propaganda. About 300 participants were there in the protest from various parts of Madhya Pradesh. It had its own effect. They approached Vinoba for advice before they started the protest. He disapproved of it because it was not the form of Satyagraha. Nevertheless, they proceeded and conducted the fast. That was the beginning when some of them were not following the mainstream of the BHOODAN movement after 1957 but started with Satyagraha. Though Vinoba was disapproving their methods, they kept him informed of their programs. Respectfully, they differed with him and some of them were parting ways. The Satyagraha Samaj published his book Partyless Democracy, written in English and its Hindi translation also. They had a branch of the Satyagraha Samaj at Agra, and the idea of adopting the means of Satyagraha caught the imagination of the Sarvodaya workers. Vinoba was going on the way of passive Satyagraha, and some of them and workers wanted a more active program, an active form of protest. And so, though Gora was with Vinoba, he made it plain to him that he, along with some of his friends, were going a different way by taking an active protest line as a part of the BHOODAN movement. The differences with the mainstream of BHOODAN activity and the Shanti Sena organization became more and more evident for Gora. Vinoba started Shanti Sena and Sarvodaya Patra. Thereby, he meant the workers should be maintained by the households. Thousands of Sarvodaya workers were organized throughout India. It meant a kind of charity of the households by the small amount of a handful of grain every day. Dr. Suryanarayana of Andhra, who was very famous eye doctor, organized Sarvodaya Patra. And these achievements were there throughout India. Wherever they wanted to organize Sarvodaya Patra, the workers came to him and learned the methods of organization. Despite of all these achievements, Gora left that the final land revolution as the economic revolution was not coming up. Gora and his team also felt that the BHOODAN movement was becoming increasingly non-political and it was concentrating only upon the constructive activities. As the constructive activities attracted world attention, Vinoba's sayings and biographical accounts were published in different languages throughout the world. He received the Magsaysay Award from Philippines along with J. Prakash Narayan. There was wide publicity to the constructive activity of the BHOODAN movement. This BHOODAN movement was advertised in Japan, Germany, England, and France. It was attracting streams of visitors from foreign countries. As a Sarvodaya activity, as a principle, it was all right. It had its own growth and popularity. Sarvodaya and Gandhian offices also were built up at Varanasi and in Delhi with big buildings. By that kind of growth, they thought it was not that Gandhian approach, that kind of Gandhian simplicity, that kind of Gandhian mass contact and mass movement. On the other hand, the Sarvodaya movement was going into the hands of educated few and the rich few. There was that middle class grandeur about it. It was losing its mass contact. Therefore, Gora thought that they should give it another turn or some of them should pull it to mass contact programs. And here ends our today program and we'll continue in the next episode, the remaining part. Thank you.
For more videos, please subscribe to our Positive Atheism English channel presented by Dr. Samaram Multi-Channel Network, which is nearby 20 crore views. Please like, subscribe and share our videos. And for notification of our new videos, please click the bell icon.
Please download Samaram Multi-Channel app and watch your favorite channels from your mobile. App available on Google Play Store and subscribe to the channels.